In the darkness of space, no one can hear you scream. Major spoiler alert with one of the most iconic monsters in cinema. Thank you for watching and enjoy the movie. In deep space, a space probe finds and examines the wreckage of the USCSS Nostromo, recovering a mysterious organic artifact. The object is opened, and analysis reveals the shape of a xenomorph inside. On the planet Jackson's star, an orphan Rain Carradine works in a mining colony with her adopted brother, a synthetic human named Andy, programmed by his father to ensure her safety. She wants to leave the planet for a new life on the distant world Yvaga 3 because she has clocked in the hours required by the contract. However, the Weyland-Yutani employee scams her and doubles her contract time. Shortly after, her ex-boyfriend Tyler contacts her to meet her on his spaceship. On board are Tyler's sister Kay, his younger cousin Bjorn, and their pilot, Bjorn's girlfriend Navarro. Tyler explains that an abandoned WY spaceship is drifting and is due to crash into its rings in about 36 hours. The station has several cryostasis chambers that can allow them to make the long journey. He has contacted Rain because Andy, as a synthetic, has the ability to interface with the station's computer, cracking any locks they may encounter. He convinces her by promising that she will be allowed to come with them to Yvaga 3. The Raven flies towards the objective, which turns out to be a space station named Renaissance, divided into two parts, Romulus and Remus. Boarding, Tyler, Bjorn and Andy make their way through and encounter some difficulties as the artificial gravity is purged from time to time. Their progress leads them to the station's power controls and soon after to the coveted cryogenic chambers. However, they do not have enough cryogenic fuel to get them to Yvaga. Still, Tyler ejects them into space so that Navarro can retrieve them, and they continue to explore the station in search of additional fuel. As the Raven retrieves the pods, Kay rushes to the bathroom to vomit. Rain helps her, and she intimately confides that she is pregnant. Then Tyler's group reaches the Romulus' science module and comes across a damaged synth near a large hole in the floor that appears to have been made by acid. They eventually locate a cryo storage room with more cryo fuel than they need. But while trying to retrieve it, they accidentally trigger a lockdown sequence that traps them in the room. Andy cannot lift the lockdown because it requires a higher authorization, which forces Navarro and Rain to come aboard to help them. However, invisible to all, a cache of cryopreserved facehuggers quickly thaws and begins to awaken with ominous jolts. Rain deduces that installing a module from the destroyed synth into Andy should give him the authorization to unlock. But as the module initializes in Andy, the first facehuggers emerge from their cryopods and begin attacking from all sides. In a panic, Andy resets and manages to open the door just in time for the three to escape. But as they run in a frantic flight, a facehugger successfully latches onto Navarro's face. In the main science lab, the crew attempts to remove the creature but are forced to stop before its tail, wrapped around his neck, strangles him to death. Looking for a solution to his KO, Rain reactivates the damaged synth who introduces himself as Science Officer Rook. He explains that the station that was revealed to be the one that retrieved the xenomorph from the wreckage of the Nostromo was nearly destroyed by the creature before they managed to kill it. He states that there is unfortunately nothing they can do to try to save Navarro, but Tyler insists that they try anyway. Using cryo-fuel to freeze the root of its tail, they manage to dislodge the facehugger, freeing it from its hold. However, Andy's directives have been altered by Rook's pod, and he decides that the ship cannot be allowed to leave while there is a chance that Navarro is harboring a xenomorph. Unfortunately, they arrive at the ship first and close the airlock, trapping Tyler, Rain, and Andy on the station. The chestburster then begins to emerge from Navarro, whose spasms cause the Ravenon to drift out of control. The mad ship first crashes into a fuel tank, which explodes, and then crashes into the Romulus hangar, destabilizing the entire station. The crew now has only 47 minutes to get out of this trap before the station is destroyed by the planet's rings. Taking advantage of the disorder, the synthetic ensures the integrity of the dangerous cargo and turns out to be in charge of the mission. Andy's reprogramming therefore subordinates him, despite his will, to the orders of the latter, and his priorities changed. After being knocked out by the crash, Kay wakes up shocked on the Corbelan. Exploring its hostile places, she finds Navarro's corpse without his explosive inside. Joined by Bjorn, she discovers that the explosive has molted and is currently locked in a cocoon on the wall of a corridor. Bjorn tries to kill the creature locked in a cocoon with high voltage using a paralyzing rod, but although this injures the creature, it is not enough to kill it. Bjorn is then sprayed with acid by the creature and ends up being killed by the acid blood that aggressively eats away at him. The xenomorph then comes out of the cocoon and threatens Kay, who barely manages to escape from the Corbelan. Meanwhile, in a corridor, Tyler, Rain and Andy are pursued by an army of facehuggers, determined to parasitize them until they manage in extremis to lock a door for this protege. By masking their thermal signatures and being as silent as possible, they can make their way through to join Kay to leave the premises. However, her pleas can be heard through the microphone of the headset he is wearing, alerting the facehuggers, so the emergency forces them to flee at full speed to save their lives. They manage against all odds to the hangar door, which is locked with Kay alone and vulnerable on the other side. Andy then realizes that the xenomorph is using Kay as bait and refuses despite Rain and Tyler's pleas and orders to open the gate as the risk is too high. As Kay is suddenly abducted by the xenomorph, Andy coldly reveals that his prime directive has been altered by the module to act solely in the interest of Weyland-Yutani. Andy then leads them to the Romulus science lab, and Rook contacts them via a video feed. He explains that the xenomorphs were studied at the station because Weyland-Yutani wanted to exploit the creature's exceptional metabolism to improve humanity. The result was a compound similar to the one found in the Prometheus, which, although untested, has the potential to impart this ability to humanity, allowing them to survive in the various environments of the galaxy. He then shows a video of a crushed rat injected with the compound, which heals almost instantly. Andy then arms the two humans with pulse rifles, but states that they must be used with caution, as the xenomorph's acidic blood could cause a hull breach. They leave the lab, but the video continues showing the rat starting to mutate. They make their way through the ship and eventually come across a section covered in xenomorph resin, proving that there is more than one adult creature on the station. Suddenly, Tyler hears something and sounds like a woman's screams. Realizing that Kay is still alive, Tyler rushes inside and finds her badly injured, encased in a cocoon, stuck to the wall, but fortunately not caught in the face. Andy believes that if they hurry back to the Corbelan and its cryogenic chambers, the compound will be able to stabilize her. However, Kay's release alerts the xenomorphs to the survivors' presence, and they are attacked. Tyler is then harpooned by the terrifying creature while Andy is neutralized. Rain and Kay manage to get into the elevator, but as they go up, Rain bravely decides that she can't leave Andy to his fate. She then tells Kay to go to the Corbelan, while she takes the risk of going back alone to get him. Shortly after leaving, Kay gives in to panic and, fearing for the safety of her unborn child, desperately injects herself with the compound. Back with Andy, Rain removes Rook's module and thus returns him to his previous instructions before they are once again caught in the hunt, pursued by the ferocious xenomorphs. Stuck in a dead end, they contact Rook, who coldly tells them that the complex is his only concern. They are replaceable as long as Kay and the complex are safe. Rain then turns into a battle strategist, and just as the xenomorphs prepare to strike, she deactivates the station's gravity. This allows him, with Andy's help, to mercilessly shoot and kill the creatures without their acid blood touching the hull and causing a fatal decompression. They then go through the corridor, now filled with acid blood floating in the air. And Rain tries to call the elevator, although it does not work without gravity. They then go up in the elevator shaft, but however, halfway, the gravity generators trigger a purge, and Rain falls violently. His fall is suddenly interrupted by a xenomorph, and other aliens rush towards them. Andy then becomes incandescent and burns in him the sacred fire of the warrior. They therefore shoot down the creature with a sustained fire under the eyes of Rain, very moved by his gesture. Without waiting, they manage to escape in extremis from the Corbelan at the moment when the station hits the rings that destroy it, disintegrate it, as well as Rook and all the xenomorphs who are on board. While the three survivors prepare for their trip to Yvaga, it turns out that Kay has been affected by the injection of the compound, and in excruciating pain, she gives birth to a rapidly growing xenomorph-human hybrid that represents a fatal threat to their lives. Rain then rushes, equipped with a cryogenic bomb, to kill him. But the creature manages to escape in a bath of bubbling acid. The horrific hybrid then shows up, injures Andy, and in a monstrous attack mercilessly kills Kay. The monster then attacks Rain, but she escapes from the trap and finds refuge in a cargo hold airlock and puts on a suit, while the space cold is already freezing the ship due to a hole in the hull. The alien crosses the door and foils the trap set by Rain by hitting her violently. However, the hull fractures and a lightning decompression manages, despite its implacable resistance, to eject the creature into Jackson's rings, which fatally crush it. Then, the heroine places Andy in a cryostasis chamber and records a journal on their hoped-for arrival at Yvaga, before entering stasis herself for this long interstellar journey. Thank you for enjoying this exciting film with us. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell. See you soon on Storytime.